I apologize if what I'm saying has been already said, if I will sound a little bit redundant. And I just was asked to describe a little bit my experience with uh, submitting a proposal and perform experiments in the COVID era, so remotely. And just briefly to say that I am a lecturer at Queen Mary, but I also work together in collaboration with Nigel Mason at Kent, Duncan that you just heard from, Susanna. So we all work together, and but this is a different project that has also been done at OMKI with ITSA as well. So I'm going to now start sharing my proposal with you and briefly highlight all the little points that I found important while I was preparing it, and then my experience when we were doing the beam time, which had just happened in October. Okay, so the first thing that as a group, a research group, we're thinking who will be the PI and the co-I of this project. Usually the PI is who has the idea, but like there could be different cases. So it is good to think a little bit about who will be the leader of the project and the first person that will be the first collaborator, because those people usually are the ones that will go to the facility. So they will be the ones that will be like more directly involved in the decision making during not only the preparation of the project, but also the execution of the project. So if you see here on the right side, I'm just putting all the pages of the proposals. And you see in the first page, of course, some details and then the abstract. Make sure that you put everything important that you have in your abstract so that all the objectives and the deliverables are clear, and that there is the problem that you want to tackle is clearly assessed. And so don't miss anything, but try to be concise. Don't extend it too much. And also, of course, don't underestimate also the keywords that you're going to use. Usually those you can find, there are long sections, so in journals, trying to make sure that you put the right ones. Then there is like some information for the co-I, and then we go to the selection of your primary site where you're going to do the experiments. So this is very important that you select the right facility. The question is this the facility that you should ask yourself? Is this the facility that can do the job for you and with you? And or is there another facility that could do that? Which one would be the best? So then you just start ranking them. And if you only have one, then it's easy. Otherwise, you can mention a few of them and put them, rank them in the list according to the priority that you think is more appropriate. And that's also when you should start thinking to contact these facilities, because once you start having your idea and putting things together, then also is the right time to see whether this is feasible. So you contact them and you propose to that facility your research questions and how you want to tackle them, and see if they get excited, if they think that this is something that they can do there with you, and that will help you make this ranking list. And then here you write down what are the beam time amount of days that you're going to ask for, and this is something that you will fill in once everything else has been sorted out. So that's a number that is here, but you will come up with later on. So the first thing here, and I think everybody, even though I was not here, I'm sure that everyone stressed it out, is to contact the facility. And this is really like the second step. Once you have the idea, you contact the right facility. And the reason why you want to do that is also because you need to find out all the little details that you need to figure out in order to have a successful research program there. So everything that you think is relevant could be inserted in this paragraph here on the top of the proposal. So you can write all the experimental needs, all the logistical needs, and everything that can help make this research successful. And then you get to the proposal. Mine is also on basically astrochemistry and chemistry related to the solar system. and it's on the formation and destruction of methylformate isomers in space. And so Duncan already discussed quite extensively his research proposal. I'm just going to highlight a few bullet points here and there on mine. So the first thing is that you want to have your objectives very clear. And that is something that you need to think very early on when you start shaping up your proposal. And then in the science and technology part, you want to basically have a little summary of what is the state of the art in your field, but also clearly state where the problem is and how you're going to solve it. And that is going to be then the focus of the next section, mostly. But here you really need to set the scene. And here you, in this part 3, the implementation is, you have to explain clearly how you're going to solve the problem and your issue. And this section is also important because here you're going to write all the details on all your experiments. So you're going to try to be more concrete as possible in writing it down. So then you also, for yourself, have a clear estimate on what is going to take you to tackle this issue. So how many days of beam time will you need to do that? And if you then list the experiments, perhaps you make a table to help yourself to summarize that. Then you also know how much beam time you should ask for. This is something that you need to talk to the facility, because this has to be agreed on with the facility people. And this is going to help you out a lot to make a proposal that is also feasible and not too ambitious. And yeah, then the last part of the submission is the impact. Usually, I also personally tend not to put much attention in that because I'm always focused on my research. But I know now by my little experience in the field that this part is as equally important, usually is as equally important as the rest. And here you really need to think about your stakeholders. And because of this call is on planetary science mostly, so trying to think about that nationally and internationally, what is the impact of your research into that? And what are all the other stakeholders there too? And again, trying to come up with an idea that fits well with the remit of the call. So then you don't find yourself having a great idea that is well explained, but this call is not appropriate for you. So, and then when I was just joining, I heard that you were talking about references. I put my references down there. I know that was not clear. I also had to think about where to put my references, but I just put them there at the end of it. So I think there is a little bit of freedom of how to do that. Okay, so now congratulations, you were successful, and you discussed everything, all the little details with the facility. So now you also know the dates of your beam time, and then COVID happens, and you cannot go there. So that is something that we all need to deal with. But there are some facilities that can still do the experiments for you. Perhaps not all of them, because the situation is quite tricky at the moment. But for instance, the one at Atomki can clearly do the job. They have a very good, strong group. They all are very good experts, and they can help a lot. Duncan is there as well as Peter, Bela, and all the other Zoli and all the other researchers. And it is quite straightforward to work with them. And that's also important to build up some sort of good relationship with the group, so then we can all work together toward the same goal. So what we do is to, obviously, you see, we are on Zoom, we do Zoom meetings here, but feel free, obviously, to choose the platform that you prefer best. Now I'm going to highlight a few points about the virtual visits. And these are basically things that you could think when you work remotely. So something that I also heard someone else saying was to make a very concrete, strong, detailed schedule of your run. So really, really think about every single day and what you want to do. I help myself making tables and writing all the experiments that I want to do. That also helped me figure out how much beam time I needed for that and how much preparation before the beam time I needed for that. This is all things that you need to discuss with the facility before submission of your proposal. And then you still need to keep discussing afterwards, because once you start planning for your visit or for a virtual visit, then you really need to figure everything out beforehand. And so to help out the process, you can, of course, share your data through a password secured cloud. And so I have the data on a daily basis already, as basically on a fly. As soon as they are recorded, you can have them basically. But what helps a lot in the communication is what we are doing at Tonki is to have basically an electronic lab journal that you build yourself, as the one that you see here on the right side. And then they will fill it up for you at the facility with all the numbers. So you need to obviously go back and forth with them to find out the best format that works for you and the people at the facility. But this is very powerful because you can share it very quickly. You can make changes. Everybody can read it. There is no like a problem of I don't understand your handwriting, or I need to scan this picture here or this file there. It's everything electronic already, and it's very straightforward. So I really suggest to do that. That also helps you to plan every single day to the little details. And then have a regular Zoom or Skype or Teams meeting or whatever you want to use. And we were used to do at least one a day. But we were not just limiting ourselves to that, because we were doing one before the beam time, one at the end of the beam time as well. So usually our experiments last one day, long working day, maybe two shifts of regular time for people. So long days, could be 16 hours or so. And so we want to plan that carefully. And one thing also is that as usual things happen, and then you need to react quickly. So we were sending each other lots of emails in preparation of that, during that, and afterwards. And we were also using, well, actually Duncan was there, Duncan and I and the others had a WhatsApp group. And we are now also using a WhatsApp group to share quick information to the minute, so then we can basically make decisions on real time. Because of course, organizing Zoom meetings can take some time, and then but sometimes also you need to say something quickly. They're gonna have a very burning question for you, and so you need to respond very fast. And also another thing that is important is to make pictures. Now with like our phones, you can make pictures of anything. So you get screenshots, pictures, so you can clearly see the setup, what's going on there. And sometimes you have viewports to look at your sample. Maybe you want to do that. Maybe they can take pictures for you and they can share it. WhatsApp or on any other platform is fast and quick and efficient. And you also want to maybe see your data immediately and decide, oh, maybe what I'm growing here is too thick or too thin or whatever we need to change. So you can make decisions very fast. And then, I don't know, yeah, sorry, jump. Yes, and then one thing that I want to stress out that actually happened to me and is happening to Duncan as well while doing his beam time is that you need to bear in mind that things happen. So yes, it is true that you have your schedule very detailed, stated and on black on white and so on, but also things happen. So you can have issues at the beam facility. You can have issues, experimental issues. You can have problems with your sample, problems with your end station, or also now you can also have problems with the personnel. Some people can get sick, some people can get COVID as well. So they are somewhat risking while doing your experiments because they are there together in a small area. Of course, everything is according to rules and security and so on, but still there is a non-zero risk. So people can get sick in the lab or outside and so on. So you need to think that perhaps there is not going to be enough personnel during your beam time, and that is going to just happen while you were already doing your beam time or there will be some other problems. So just my suggestion is just to relax a little bit and trying to deal with all these issues one by one. Hopefully you will not get any of that. And so with that, I would just like to wish you good luck for the next deadline. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk here.